Welcome back to Resilient Rehab and Performance's mini-series on understanding pain. Today I'm going to help you understand the relationship between anxiety and pain, as well as showing you 4 keys to how you can better manage your anxiety and your pain at the same time. So why do people tend to have more pain when they're more anxious? I think a nice way of looking at this is taking a look at what happens in the nervous system. When you're really anxious, your brain tends to go into a fight or flight mode, so it's paying extra attention to all the sensory information that's coming from the body saying, hey look, pay attention to this, pay attention to that. Now what happens when you have an injury is your brain starts paying more attention to those painful signals coming from that area saying, hey look, pay extra attention to this. So if something is X level of pain on that scale of 0 to 10, it might feel worse than that because your nervous system is paying extra attention to it. So practically when you have an injury, it's important to see and figure out if your anxiety is influencing the pain that you have. So I think the biggest thing to pay attention to is when you're hurting, how is your anxiety levels during that time and leading up to that period of time when you're hurting. If you're a lot more anxious throughout the day and then your pain levels increase as your anxiety increases, well maybe that's the key that anxiety is influencing how much pain you have. So how can we reduce the pain levels that you're feeling at this point? Well, first we got to address the anxiety. So as we all know, anxiety is a very multifaceted situation, but there's a few keys that we can use to help reduce the anxiety that you're feeling, and that might influence how much pain you're having. So first, a lot of research shows that meditation can really help reduce your anxiety. And I think this helps because you're giving your body something to focus on, and you're not allowing the world just to control you in every single way. You're giving your body and your mind something to focus on that you can control. So starting with meditation is a really helpful tool for managing the anxiety. When you're having more of an anxiety attack, also using deep breathing, a 4 count in, a 4 count out can be very helpful at controlling the heart rate, forcing you to control your breathing pattern to help reduce that anxiety that you're having. So if you've noticed that when your anxiety is worse, that your pain is worse, it's important to make sure to avoid any potential triggers for your anxiety before you do an activity that might be physically irritating whatever injury you might have. You don't want to compound a potentially aggravating activity plus increasing your anxiety at the same time. That's just not a smart move to do. So try to avoid any potential triggers before you do potentially aggravating activities. And finally, counseling has been very helpful for a lot of my patients that have had chronic pain as well as anxiety and emotional related to the physical pain that they're having. So seeking help from a qualified counselor to help you work through everything related to your anxiety can be enormously helpful in managing that. And as a result, that can improve how much pain you're feeling. So overall, the research strongly suggests that anxiety tends to increase how much pain people are having. So if you have an injury, it's important to make sure that any anxiety you might be having might not be increasing how much pain you're feeling from this injury. If you notice that it is, meditation, guided breathing, focusing on avoiding potential anxiety triggers before your activity, as well as seeking counseling can be very helpful tools to help reduce your pain by managing your anxiety. If you have any further questions, feel free to send me a message here on resilientrp.com or reach out to me on YouTube, Instagram, or Facebook.